Well, hello, Steiff superfans. How are you? I've missed you. I was in the mood for a little fun, and I'm suspecting you are as well. So, I've pulled together a mini lecture on one of Steiff's most delightful and charming novelties of the 1930s. And perhaps these will be relatively new to you as well. And we can have some fun with a mini lecture on something that's utterly delightful. What I'd like to talk with you about today are Steiff's baby toys from the early 1930s. These are called ball animals. And these were produced in a series. I think there were maybe 8 or 10 of them over time. And they were produced in 9 and 15 centimeters. And they have a wonderful backstory to them. But before I get to the history, let me share a few with you to put this in context. All right, let's get started. So the first one I'm going to share with you is actually the first one I added to my collection several years ago. I found him at a show, and I didn't even think he was Steiff until I literally held him in my hand and inspected him and looked for his button and all of that. And I realized, indeed, this was an early and very well loved Steiff ball animal, little toy for children. And so because he can't stand up on his own, he's very feeble. He lives in my Steiff, my platypus dish, which was not made by Steiff, but is a perfect home for him. So let me share with you my first and probably most loved ball animal. Here you see, it's a little lion, and his little body is like the shape of it's about the size of a golf ball. Fits in my hand. His head's like the size of maybe an apricot. He is sort of head jointed. He's a little stiff. You would be too if you were born in the 30s. Your neck would be stiff. But you can see the wonderful detailing that you'll see on other ball animals as well, including a wraparound tail, glass pupil eyes, hand embroidered nose. It's got some of his, doesn't have his whiskers left, but he has his spots where the whiskers were, and his ears, and of course his button. And you can see, or only imagine a child over time holding this and loving him, this little ball lion. So that's my first one for you. And then I'm sure you're not surprised that Steiff came out with a ball rabbit. And again, this little guy, does he squeak? No, he lost his squeaker over time, but you can hear the excelsior. He was very firmly stuffed. He would have had a little squeaker in it. And you can see he's got felt ears with his button. He's got a simple hand embroidered nose and mouth. And this is the sort of the stitching of the 30s, so sort of a simple stitching. The glass pupil eyes, his head moves. And he has a little pom-pom tail and pom-pom feet. And those are like the woolen miniature type of pom-poms. And you can see his beautiful little face. Probably the prettiest ball animal I have of the era is this little tabby. And you can see she's got her tabby striping and a wonderful face. She's got those delightful teal and black slit pupil eyes. Wonderful construction. She also moves. She's got her little button. Does she squeak? Oh, there you go. Can you hear that? She's squeaking a little. And her pom-poms, tail, a lovely little tabby design. You recognize this design from the catalog, a beautiful and classic design. So all those that I showed you were the 9 centimeters, and now I'm going to show you the 9 and the 15 centimeter together so you can see sort of the difference in scale. And these nice guys are my 9 and 15 centimeter ducks, beautiful ducks. And so just for reference, my hand, here's the duck, little one, and here's the big one. See, beautiful. And so the duck, no ears, as suspected, so she has her button and tag in her foot, double thick, so this is called double thick felt. You see it's kind of thick, it's not thin, to hold the button better. And she also has neck that swivels. She's got lovely airbrushing, black button eyes, a simple design, quack, 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 but totally loving and totally recognizable as a duck. Perfect for a ball animal. They're sort of like small balls to begin with. Here's the bigger one. Oh, she's not squeaking either. Not a squeaking day. You can see the button here on the foot and the head jointing. Just a lovely example. She has a mohair tail, not the pom-poms. So what's interesting about these is that when they were new, you can see a little bit, they would have like little strings on a few of the seams that would hold elastic cords. So you could actually hold the cords and the ball and play sort of catch with these, go up and down, which is another reason they didn't last too long, because people were actually playing catch with them. So babies were coddling them and people were playing catch with them. So you can see why not many survived to this day, because they got a lot of love and wear to them. But that's how they left the factory, with their elastic strings for catching and such. So that's a beautiful duck. So let me tell you a little bit about the history. Like, why did these come about? Why did Steiff make ball animals? Well, in 1929, things started going really downhill in Germany in terms of economic situation, socioeconomic situation, politically situation, the whole nine yards. Things were not going well. And of course, a lot of people took a big hit financially for that. And so Steiff's product strategy, starting in the early 1930s, was to sort of go two ways: to create very high-end products, and those would be products that had a lot of technology involved with them, like the tail moves head items and snap jointed items and such. And those were more expensive and more elaborate to capture that very high-end market for people who still had cash and money to spend on toys. And then create a series of lower end items for people who were really pinched for money but still wanted to buy beautiful things. And this ball animal strategy was part of that big movement. And so what these were the most popular and beloved heads that you see on the top. The duck is obviously beautiful. The tabby you recognize as a beautiful example. Of course, there'd be a rabbit. There was also things like an elephant, and there was a little teddy, and such, a little chin-chin. Those were all very popular at the time. And they put them on very simple bodies that were easy to construct with minimal fabric. So they were very economically efficient to produce. And so they could produce a series of these, a large number of them, fill the catalog page with a beautiful new item or beautiful items, and yet not have to make a lot of investment in the product. And so this was an example of how to create a lower end product that sort of fits all your business needs. And it's also really interesting to note that around the same time that these guys came out, Steiff also introduced their series of the woolen pom-pom miniatures, which were also part of that lower product introduction series. And of course, some of the these little guys actually have little woolen miniature features to them. Anyway, that's what I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this circular reference to some of Steiff's more interesting and unusual production. That's Prewar. One more time: the large duck, quack, 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 and his baby, best friends forever. Beautiful little tabby. Meow. The bunny. I don't think bunnies make too much sound, so he'll just wave. Hello, goodbye. And the old man. Beautiful old lion. That's what I have for you. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed our mini lecture, and teddy hugs to everyone. Bye for now.